All right, here we go. Question number 17 from our Precalculus homework number 11 in MyLab Math. They have given us the equation of an ellipse. They want us to find the center, vertices, and foci and graph it. And so we're going to recopy this equation into our notes. And now that we have the equation in our notes, the first thing we need to do is determine which column of formulas applies to our problem. So let's make a note that the big number in the denominator is a squared, and the other number in the denominator must be b squared. And we know from our formula sheet that a squared is greater than b squared. So a squared is the largest number in the denominator. And if that is under the x squared, then that means we have a horizontal major axis. And that also means that this formula applies as well as all of these formulas here. All right, so now that we have our standard form copied down, a simple question: what value would h have to be for x minus h squared to simplify to only x squared? Well, that would indicate that h would need to be 0 because x minus 0 is x. And what value would k need to be so that y minus k squared simplifies to only y squared? And that would indicate that k would also be 0 because y minus 0 is y. We've already determined that a squared is 81 and b squared is 49. And so at this point, I believe we have enough information to get started. First, with the center, we know that the center is the ordered pair h comma k, which in our problem here, the center is going to be at the origin. So inputting that into our MyLab Math, as an ordered pair, we need 0 comma 0, and that takes care of the center. Next, they want to know what are the coordinates of the vertices. So going back to our information sheet, we can see that the vertices are going to be h plus or minus a comma k. So h is 0 plus or minus a. So a is going to be the square root of 81, which is 9, comma k, which is 0. And that would give us ordered pairs of plus or minus 9, comma 0. And MyLab Math may accept it with the plus or minus. We'll just have to check and see. All right, here we go. So the coordinates of the vertices are plus or minus 9, comma 0. And it did accept it with the plus or minus. Nice. Next, what are the coordinates of the foci? And going back to our formula sheet, we can see that the foci are h plus or minus c, comma k. And I don't believe we have the value of c yet, so we're going to have to use the Pythagorean relationship in order to calculate c. So here with our Pythagorean relationship, we're going to substitute for a squared and b squared, and then we'll be able to solve for c squared and then c. All right, so what do we got? We've got a squared is 81 equals b squared is 49 plus c squared. We're going to need to subtract 49 from both sides. 81 minus 49 is 32. And then we're going to need to take the square root of both sides to get our value of c. Now the square root of 32 may reduce, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my Casio to simplify that radical if possible. So again, one of the cool features about the Casio ClassWiz is that it will simplify a radical expression if it can be simplified. Here, see that it takes the square root of 32 and puts it into simplest radical form. That's going to be 4 square root of 2. And then to write the foci, that's going to be h plus or minus c, comma k. And then we can get rid of the 0 because 0 plus or minus anything is just that thing. and we'll see if it'll take the plus or minus answer again. All right, so the foci as an ordered pair are going to be plus or minus 4 square root of 2, comma 0, and it did accept the plus or minus. Nice. All right, so instead of actually having to sketch the graph, all we have to do is pick the correct answer. I would like to point out that A and B have a horizontal major axis, and C and D have a vertical major axis. So that's going to be like our 50-50. This is one of our lifelines where we can throw out two answer choices if we simply know what the major axis is. And going back to our notes, remember we had a horizontal major axis. And so that means that answer choice C and D are eliminated. So now we're down to answer choice A or B. And the difference between these answers, well, are the minor vertices I notice are different. But the location of the foci are different as well. So what we're going to need to do is we're going to need to approximate those foci to decimals and see which one of these two graphs has the closest foci. All right, so our foci were plus or minus 4 square root of 2 comma 0. And if we estimate 4 square root of 2 as a decimal, that's going to be about 5.7 rounded. So negative 5.7 comma 0 and 5.7 comma 0. And now that we know about where the foci are, I think we're going to be able to pick the correct graph. All right, so if you can see my cursor here, from the origin to the edge of the screen is 10 units. It goes negative 10 and then positive 10. And that means that each one of these hash marks would have to be 2. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. And our estimate was about 5.7. So if you look at answer choice A, that dot that represents the focus is at negative 2, 4, 6, almost at negative 8. Answer choice B, the focus is at 2, 4, it's a little bit short of 6. So I believe answer choice B is going to be our correct answer because it has the foci at about 5.7 roughly, definitely closer than answer choice A was. And that's going to do it for this question. So if you have any questions or comments about anything covered in this video, please feel free to leave those in the comment section below, or you can text me, and thanks for watching.